Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so today we have the 10 of Swords, which has everything to do with ruin, right? This isn't necessarily the best card, but it might not be so terrible after all. So let's take a look and see, what are these tea leaves going to tell us? What are they going to show us today? And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment or hit the like button, I would love to hear from you. Absolutely. All right. So it looks to me that there's been some kind of, well, I feel like it's almost kind of a quarrel. Now we have a face here, and you can see here's the eye, here's the nose, here's the mouth, kind of frowning, right? And then here we have, again, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, still pretty angry looking. Now, down here we have, it looks like a person. They're wearing maybe like a big robe or a dress. I almost kind of think of this like flowing thing, like a, you know, how they paint angels in their kind of flowing robes. And then over here we have a person who is seated. They are holding a turtle, okay? So I'm looking at this, and this looks to me like maybe the Empress, okay? It feels like there's been a conflict with somebody who is a peer who probably, I imagine, is like a sibling or a good friend, a cousin, maybe somebody you've worked with for a long time. They feel like family, but there's conflict there, okay? And I feel like this is a really kind of angry person. It might be the circumstances of what's going on in their life right now. They might not always be like, you know, angry and rageful and at a 10. But I do think that whatever is going on with them, it's definitely being brought over into your connection with them. And I feel like it's like you've tried to give and give and give and be there and be the support and listen to them and help them in the ways that you can, but it's like they act out against you. Like, it's like being the messenger, right, of bad news. And no matter what, if you have anything to do with it or not, you probably don't, you're going to be the one that's going to get the brunt of the anger, okay? So I do feel like there is this kind of trying to stay in kind of like like a mediator or somebody who is kind of serene and angelic in a way. I'm sure you're quite angelic. But yes, trying to kind of just remain that person that is there, that is the support. But I feel like it's like you're just really getting almost like, it's like vitriol, right? It's like a venom. And I see you dealing with this person who, listen, they're in the Empress mode. That doesn't mean that they're really in charge of anything. I think they perceive themselves to be kind of, you know, the boss, right? And holding, over here we have holding that turtle. I imagine that this is two things. Slow going, right? But also trying to start their life over. And I feel like maybe they're going through a divorce, or there has been some kind of falling out with their maybe like core family unit, maybe even with their children who are older or whatever it is. But I feel like this person kind of, it's like they sit up on this high hill here, you know, and make it impossible for most people to kind of be close to them, be around them. And I feel like you understand, in the position that you're in, that this is almost like a really intolerable person, but yet you really love them so much, and you continue to show up for them, even if you don't understand what the heck they're doing, right? You might look at the situation and think, why are you even behaving like this? You're the one that kind of caused all these problems, and now you're kind of like all boo-hooey about what's happening. These are the, you know, these are the consequences of your behavior. And, you know, this is not a person who is receptive to hearing that kind of talk, right? So, yeah, there is the anger. I think that you tried to maybe reason with them, and it absolutely did not work out. It just went the wrong way. Now, we have a person here. You can see the head up here. Here's the body, holding their arm out. They're holding a bouquet of flowers, okay? Now, we also have a sword, okay? We have an X. We have, it looks like a little road runner. And we have, well, I looked here, and this reminded me right in here. I thought, okay, maybe there's a Cancer person involved. And I looked this way, it does look like a crab. So I wonder if there is a kind of romantic entanglement you have with a Cancer person, or maybe previously there was some relationship. Maybe you are getting to know a Cancer person, but I do feel like there is maybe some kind of emotional, maybe physical connection. And I've said this before. I think Pisces and Cancer people are very much alike. Very much alike. You know, I think that maybe you're a little less rigid than a Cancer person, but I could see how a Pisces and a Cancer could either be really good together, have like a really kind of calm, intentional, really connected, kind of based around the home, being kind of homebodies together. Living in your own world together, kind of, you know, really focused on the life that you have privately, right? Or I think it could just be absolutely torture. Because I think that the emotional aspect, or the kind of emotional games, right, would be, I think, kind of difficult with a Cancer person. I think that with your nature of being pretty flexible, pretty open, willing to look at areas that maybe, hey, I might have been a little wrong here, or hey, maybe I need to have more information so I can understand, or you're willing to do this. Where a Cancer person, and I'm not saying every Cancer person, but a lot of Cancer people, I would say, are, yeah, they're a tough nut to crack. And once they get locked into an understanding, it can be difficult for them to change their perception or view of something. It takes a lot of like little tiny steps. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, it does feel like this could be the one. I feel like you are really, this is an important relationship. And now if it's not romantic, I could see this maybe being like a best friend, maybe a parent, but one that you are close with, that you talk with a lot. And I feel like you are just very affectionate and like even bringing the flowers, right? Buying flowers for your significant other. And let me just say, if you are a woman and you have a husband or a male partner, they like flowers too. Maybe not all of them, but yeah, definitely. I buy flowers for my husband and he seems to like them. So, you know, don't think that I'm just talking about a man buying flowers for a woman. We are in the future, baby, right? All things are possible now. All things are permitted. So, yes, they do. I feel like you're somebody who, yeah, you like to kind of, you know, express your love, your affection, your interests, your desires, okay? Now, we have the little road runner. So I feel like there is kind of a little bit of a frantic energy. I can see like running from one thing, running to the next, running to this. So I do think that this is going to be a pretty busy time for you. And, you know, we're coming out of the season. Summer is ending, winter is ending. In the southern hemisphere, I imagine a lot of, you know, people are getting busier as the summer comes along, or the spring anyways, before it gets too hot. And up here in the north, yeah, a lot of things going on. We kind of switch into a autumn mode really quickly. And you know, not only that, and keeps coming up in my mind, is school, right? I never thought about it before I had a kid, obviously, but now it's the whole center of the world, it seems like, getting everything set up for the new schedule we're about to jump into. And so, you know, I think shifting for a lot of people, if you have kids or not, if your work is changing or not, you know, it just, the vibe of the lands is changing. We're getting into a whole different place. And so I see you really kind of busy, getting things all lined up, right? And this love. I just keep looking at, I'm like, man, there's this kind of just, I feel you in this kind of enchanted mode with this person. You're always looking forward to talking to them, or, you know, every time something happens, you're like, okay, gotta call so-and-so, gotta text, gotta send a message, you know, picture. And so we do have a person standing here. We're holding hands with a person standing here. Happy face right up there. Now, I feel like the interesting thing here is that this might be a great partnership as well. Not just that you're in love and you're attracted and or, you know, it's somebody that you are really close with and you share everything, you know, in your life with them. No, this is also a person who I think that you can work with. This is somebody you could build a life with. This is somebody maybe you already have, right? You understand each other in a way that maybe you have never understood anybody else. And it might be that they're a Cancer. It might be that they're just a person that's very kind of crab-like. You know, they have the attributes of maybe like a Cancer, or right? They're just very kind of guarded, slow moving. They live in their own little place in the world. It might even be a person that, has never even really left the area they grew up in, right? I don't know that, like, I've met too many people recently that have never left, like, their town, or they've never gone out of the state or whatever. But when I lived in the city, I would meet people all the time that barely have left their block, right? They live in one part of the community, and they don't even go to the other side of town, or haven't ever been, beyond the burbs or whatever. And so it could be somebody like that. I used to think, what the heck? When I was younger, I traveled a lot and, wanted to see everything and do everything I could. And I thought, oh yeah, everybody has this instinct to be like kind of wandering, right? And yeah, I realized that no. And I understand that more now. I would be happy to stay where I would be so happy to just stay on my property and never leave. If I could, I would do it. Now let's go ahead. We're going to use these oracle cards because I want to kind of see what is the next few days going to be like. What are some of the energies that are going to be flowing through? And I'm going to pick 3 of them, and I'm just flip through like this because I'm terrible at shuffling. Okay, so we have egotism. All right. Not always a bad thing. We give a lot of guff to the ego, but not always a terrible thing. And it exists there as a tool to keep us safe, ultimately, right? It is a tool that propels us into the next, into the world. It keeps us going. It keeps us, I don't know, maybe a little bit together so we don't kind of detach from identity, which seems to be important in this reality, right? Not every reality, especially if you've partaken in any kind of like plant medicine, or you've had an NDE, or you've had some kind of like out of body experience, or maybe you even do something like astral projection or what have you. You understand, right? Maybe you understand that, yeah, there are possibilities of kind of merging into the greater whole, and to do that in a way that is perceivable to you. And that's when the ego kind of does disappear, right? And so when we're kind of roving around in our human bodies, in our corporal bodies here, in our flesh suits, yeah, we might need a little bit of an ego to keep us bound together. Now, let's go ahead. Do the last one. Okay, here we go. So we have egotism, independence, and riches. All right. So are you on the come up? That's the first thing I was thinking. Are you, kind of in your flow? Are you making money? Are things going well? Are you doing more than you ever thought you would do? And are you starting to kind of get enchanted by your own shine, right? And that's what it can happen. You start to do good, and you're making more money than you ever expected. Maybe you're getting a little name for yourself, within your career, your job, your community. Maybe even you are an online personality. You have a channel that's growing, but you have to temper it. Right? You can't get too into this ego. Even if you are making the riches, you're making a lot of money. Because it's one of those things, as soon as we start to buy into our own grandiosity, oh my gosh, does it start to slip, right? Even, listen, even with me with this channel, and I know it's just like a tiny little thing. You know, there have been times, especially when it first started to get some traction, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, I'm going to be famous, you know, or whatever. And it's not, you know, even if that were to happen, it doesn't change what my life is, right? It doesn't change who I am. Ultimately, I'm just me. I'm just functioning in like this different kind of whatever scenery, right? And so we have to remember ourselves. Absolutely. Because you can lose yourself to it. We've seen this with countless musicians, artists, writers, and I'm sure people even on the internet that kind of, you know, get noticed for something, right? Or they've done some kind of interesting content, or, you know, they went viral for some reason or whatever. And it gets to their head, right? So I do feel like, you know, there is a desire to be seen. There is a desire to do well. And there is really a desire to be making that money, which, yeah, who wouldn't want to be? But I also think that there is a fierce independence. And yeah, that makes sense. We're talking about a Pisces. You absolutely exist within, you know, your own little world. And I feel like at times it can be almost offensive to you. I think that's what I'm getting here. It's like if you're going home, right, to visit mom and dad, everybody's there, mom is treating you like, you know, you're 15 years old again. You've been out in the world for like 30 years, and here your mom is asking, you know, I don't even know, like, you know, like, do you want me to do your laundry? Do you want me to, you know, whatever. Get right in mom mode. And it's almost kind of like, well, what do you think? Like, I can't, like, take care of myself? So I do think that there can be such an independence at times where it's like you don't, the offer of help is almost kind of like, what are you trying to say about me, mom? You know, that I just can't take care of myself. So I do think that, you know, in this time, there can be a lot of power here. A lot of power in these motives and motivators. We have to be careful of that Ten of Swords, don't we? We do not want to get to the point where everything is building up. We're getting, you know, so excited. This thing is working. It's all together. And it all comes falling down like a house of cards because we've gone too far, right? We've gone too far. We were not careful. We were not mindful of ourselves. And so, yes. Definitely feed off of this energy, but temper it. Make sure that you are not succumbing to it, okay? Because nothing will get you into delusion faster than the aspiration for power, recognition, money, right? Okay, let's see. So, I feel like we have, again, with the romantic connections, and I feel like coming up, there's maybe a couple days where you're going to do, like, going on a weekend. Maybe there's a wedding happening. You're going to go to this wedding with your significant other. The person that you have a crush on is going to be there, you know, whatever it is. And I feel like it's like you're taking the plunge, right? You're taking this very direct action. And, you know, maybe shooting your shot there. Maybe that's what it is. You're going to, you know, ask for the date. Maybe you're going to broach the idea of let's move in together. Let's be more serious. You know, or maybe it is you're married. You've been together for some years and you want to try some different things. You want to maybe, you know, whatever it is. I don't know exactly, but, you know, it could be anything. Let's go traveling. Let's, you know, let's take a couple days in the week and we go do something special together, you know, or whatever. Let's explore each other a little bit more. Let's, you know, whatever it is. I feel like it is a kind of wave of wanting to connect more deeply with your little crab person. And yeah, I feel like this is something that it feels happy. It feels like, well, really, I feel like you just are in a place where you're willing to do whatever. You are excited to have this connection. You're excited to be able to really commune with somebody who wants to be there with you, right? I feel like, you know, beyond if you have children, of course, they don't count in this. But aside from that, this is the person that you want to spend your time with. You don't really care about anybody else. You know, this is your world. This is who you want to have your world with. And maybe you're at an age or a time in your life where it doesn't really matter if you have a lot of friends or things to do with people. You want to be with one person doing whatever it is that you do together. And I think you're very focused on that. All right, Pisces, we're going to do our self-care affirmation card. No. These are the gratitude affirmation cards. And I'm going to stop where it feels right. Okay, artistic garden. I flourish in a garden of creativity where art blossoms as brilliant flowers. I take delight in an endless labyrinth of poetry, music, dance, and theater that can add new colors to my existence. Practice. What art form moves your spirit the most? Reflect on how you connect with art. Absolutely. You know, I think art, expressing ourselves, let me just rant here for a second. I cannot stand hearing somebody say I'm not an artist. I don't know how to do anything. I'm not an artist. I'm not creative. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I don't care if you are gluing macaroni to a piece of construction paper, or if you are, you know, intricately weaving beads, or, you know, working on a loom or something, some very skilled, you know, crafting or creating or artistry. It doesn't matter. Everybody has the capacity to create, and it doesn't go away just because we grow up, right? So I think it's important for each of us to find our little outlets. You know, find a little something that you want to try. If you have not done arts and crafts in a long time, there are so many advancements in the crafting world. I hadn't gone to like buy craft stuff in years before I had my daughter. And now when I go in, it's just, there's a vast ocean of different things to try. So get out there and try something. Go make something this week. Go enjoy yourself. You know, do it with all your heart. It doesn't have to look good, okay? All right, so Pisces, I want to tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Especially if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comment section. All right. I'm going to tell you again, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in just a few days. Good night.